Well, we're back. Here we are. Another one. And I do apologize of yesterday. I was doing some other major events and did not get here. I guess we are human and without being perfection, which is what I would expect, considering I am human and without perfection. Enough of that. This is the new day, and we are here. It's interesting because that's a beautiful piece of wisdom. If you can literally almost eject yourself from the day before and move yourself into the new day with the new reality, with everything possibly new. In other words, everything can be different. Everything can be, if this day was blah, then this day can be amazing. And all you have to do is move yourself and go, okay, I accept the intention of this new day according to God's paintbrush. Will and wisdom, let it be. There it goes. Nice little piece of wisdom for you. As we sit here and we grow here and we learn here together, it's amazing for me. I'm hoping that all of the technical issues that we're sometimes having are going to go poof as we move along. I'm really working to make sure my voice hits the mic and you hear us well. So as we move through this, remember if you ever require to reach out and say hello and you require some help, you can go to eric@starthealing.me, eric@starthealing.me, eric@starthealing.me. And I'll answer you. It may take me a day or two sometimes. It gets kind of hectic, but I really will come back to you and I will do what I can and what God flows through me for you. So, well, I guess we'll move on to that story. That new story. The new story? New story. Doesn't matter. She's now on a cloaked tricycle. Okay, that's happening. She goes in her head. No one can see me, moving around things, getting to the city limits. She is being looked for. They do know that. Have you seen a woman like this? And she's sitting there on her little trike, going around things, getting out of the city. And she realizes what the lady said, that, the lady had packed the thing with water and food. And when she got out there, she realized it's a desert. But God had said, go to the ruins, and the ruins would answer the questions. So, okay. She hadn't heard that second part until she got out of the interference. Ah, good. We have gone. The gates were open because somebody was coming in, and I went out over them. I felt a little bit like Skywalker. That's another story, isn't it? And she is heading now for the ruins. She don't know what the ruins are. They're out in the desert. That much she knows. This thing doesn't seem to have a fuel gauge, so it's running on something. That's the good news. And so far, it hasn't run out. And so after traveling for about 3 hours, just by intuition, she comes to a ruins. Yes, it looks like a city that has been there for a long time, but now it is, well, you could say a ruin. And she pulls her little trike into a bigger piece of the ruin and she prays because what else would you do? God sent you here. You're standing in a ruin. I don't know how this works. You're in the middle of a desert. I don't know how this works. There are things out there that look like they want to eat me. Oh, I know how that works. And God directed her to go to the center of the ruins, which she did. And when she got there, there was a place that was in pretty good shape. livable, you could say. And in one of her spaces, she had come up with something called an infinite bag. She didn't know if it had infinite space, but it had a lot of space, and it had a few things in there that were very useful, like beds and things that she had stored in there. Kind of like video games, kind of like anime. Oh my goodness. She goes, I'm living it large right now. And she thanks God for the space. And God tells her to go over and touch a rune on the wall. All right. She goes over, she touches the rune on the wall, and there's a shaking for a few seconds. And the place now looks new. Like it reformed itself into a really nice 3-bedroom flat kind of thing in the middle of the city of ruins. And in the center is a waterfall, little waterfall. I wouldn't call it a fountain. It literally looks like a waterfall. This is getting interesting. So she pulls the trike in so that it's not sitting outside being seen. And she unpacks. What else do you do? She found places to put things. This unit was really new. And then that little stone was almost like it was beeping or buzzing. So she pulled out her cell phone and she didn't know how to connect it. But the minute the cell phone got near the thing, it lit up and the phone started to give her information. It said, do you wish to recover these runes? She goes, what are the consequences if I do? And it said, well, you would own these runes. You would have to look after them, defend them. Nobody wants them, so nobody's coming at the moment. But if it gets better, they may come and you may have to defend yourself. She goes, I'm on a strange planet. I'll say that. I'll say that. I'll say that. She said to herself, she goes, yes, this is where I am. I'm on a strange planet. And I require housing. And the housing in the city is not what I want to do. I don't want to do certain activities to have housing. So yes. So she pushes the little button that says yes. And there's no little rumble, and then it says the ruins are now yours. Enjoy. And she's sitting there going, this is interesting. Especially if those runes are in everything and I can just push them in and hopefully it comes with a wall. Apparently I'm going to need a wall. Those beasts growling outside, wandering through the ruins, definitely tell me I need a wall. In fact, I should go find a wall and get it active. And she said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find the wall as soon as I have a very large drink of water because I am thirsty and see if I can activate the wall around the ruins. So she went out, she was looking, and she found a pillar. It looks like it used to be a wall. There's bits and jaggy bits here and there and fallen stones. And so she sees the pillar and there's a rune and her intuition and God seems to lead her to push that rune. So she does. And yeah, there's the wall. Well, it's building slowly. And there's another little ding on her phone now that she has figured out a way of fastening the stone to. It seems like the stone sticks. Poink. Different form of Velcro. Yay. Let's not talk about Velcro. She said, I don't like it. We'll just call it a sticky stone. And it's stuck to my phone. It's giving me information. It's awesome. It says, you have upgraded the ruins. This task is now complete. What task are you talking about? Wall building. Oh, yes, the wall is being built. Hmm. She goes, when I was in one of my other adventures, I got a weapon and a shield, and I got pretty good with that weapon and shield. I don't know. The armor got trashed, so it's useless, but the weapon and shield is there. So I guess the next thing after the wall is to get rid of these critters, if you can call them that. You might even call them demon beasts. She received a note. You are crazy for recovering these runes. All of those demon beasts will feed on your bones. Or you can come back to the city and be, and she typed, no, thank you. Enjoying the runes. Looking forward to the challenge of the demon beasts. Your funeral was written back to her. She also realized that she wasn't reading English anymore. She was reading something else, and somehow she knew how to do that. That had also happened before, so she knew this. So she now had the sword, and the sword was a magical sword. Did it work here? She struck an old stone and it cut it in half. She went, okay, it works. And then she felt something fall on her shoulder. Gooey, icky, uck, what's behind me? She slowly turned to find a slobbering beast. Looks something like a pig. Something like a pig. Not quite a pig. Larger than a pig. Made the sword look very, very small, but she knew how to fight. So she would fight. She would not be eaten by this thing, although it was looking at her like she was lunch. And so the fight ensued. And eventually she slayed that pig. Of course, that commotion brought another thing that wasn't a pig. It looked like a bird, but it wasn't flying. So she called it a demon chicken. Didn't really look like a chicken. Kind of had a weird beak and three eyes and the weirdest leather wings. But yeah, it wanted to go and she went and it made a mistake and lost its head. Nothing else was coming at the moment. She was hoping that the wall was completing. And then there were two more notifications. The first one was, do you want to harvest the demon beast or do you just want to store them until you can sell? She thought and she said, well, I don't want to do anything with them. So she said store and they disappeared into her storage. The second notification said, wall is nearly complete. Do you wish us to activate the watchtowers and outer defenses? And well, yeah. And she goes, she's typed yes. And she heard a clunk and a bing and a bong and a whiz. And she looked up on the walls that were nearly complete to her amazement. It hadn't taken long, maybe 30 minutes to build walls all the way around the ruins. And there were cannons up there. She could recognize those kind of. Looked like they were pretty official. And there were watchtowers. And there was some sort of being in the watchtower watching and calling out, all is well, all is well, all is clear, nothing seen. Meantime, she hears another thwunk wuggle, and she realized this is slime and it's coming her way. And it's looking like it wants lunch, her. Puts her shield out in front of it and it goes thunk, woggle, punk, and starts dissolving her shield. Oh, no, you don't. And she takes a great big slice at this thing and it, of course, heals it itself. Oh, fiddle. She goes, oh, I remember. And she touched the hilt, the end of the hilt, and a big flame flies out of the sword and hits the slime and it goes. And in its place is a big stone and it says, do you wish to pick up the culture stone laying on the ground? All right, yeah, sure. Into her bag it went. Realized there were bits and pieces, and they were also picked up, and she had now taken out three of these beasts, and the walls were up, and her defenses were up, but she felt a little better. She was all alone. Would she be all alone forever? We'll leave it there. Let's have a blessing, a beautiful blessing of just joy overflowing, 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 peace overflowing, 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 abundance overflowing, overflowing, overflowing. According to the will and the wisdom of the one that created you, God. According to your will and wisdom, this can be. Let's have a word of prayer. We come before you, Father, Spirit, Son. And we are so eternally grateful that you are with us and that you operate every single day and you push back the enemy if we ask and you give us gifts if we ask. It's all about asking. So we ask. And as this story moves along and you bring your healing within this story, can't wait to see the next moment. Thank you for all that you do in this circle and outside of it. As we move on from this video. And we say, give us grace and courage for the week and for the day and for the hour and for the month, for as long as we require. And grace and mercy. So that we can move and be safe. And so we say thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, thankful, grateful, gratitude, standing in awe and honor and respect, allowing all glory to flow to Father, Spirit, Son. This is, and so this is. Amen. So you be blessed. And when you rest, rest well. And when you wake, wake well. And move onto a path well lit by God. Blessings.